I'm Martin Christensen, all German Motorsports. You're watching Dirt Live.
Hey, welcome back to Dirt Live. Well, we got our special guest, Luke McMillin. Welcome to the set, Luke.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, you know, last week we spent some time with you at Oakley, and you won Rookie Driver of the Year. Was that pretty cool?
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, you only get so many chances to win Rookie of the Year, and luckily the way Oakley does it is it's a rookie of the class you're racing that year. And for Class 1, me and Justin Smith won the 3 Baja races, and so I was really excited to get Rookie of the Year. And even though it recognized me, it's not just a solo effort. You know, I got to thank my team and Justin for driving each one of those races with me, splitting those, and also my co-driver, my co-rider, Chris Oliman.
Now, we were there with you last week at Oakley. What a beautiful place, and you got some great stuff, took home, and some hardware.
Yeah, I got an awesome Oakley watch, and there was a lot of big names there too, Robby, Gordon, Walker, Evans, so it was really neat to be there. Awesome building and an awesome experience.
Now, you jumped into Class 1 your first year. Did you ever think you could dominate that much in that class?
Not a chance. You know, I've been racing the 16 car for a while now, and I knew going into Class 1 I had some weight on my shoulders because I've been watching my dad race Class 1 for 15 years. And so I know a lot of people know I've been watching and studying the cars, and you know, I knew a lot about Class 1. So I think a lot of people had expectations, but never in a million years did me or my dad or anyone think we were going to go out and win all 3 Baja races our rookie season. So it was awesome. You know,
I mean, you started out the first of the year, and San Felipe, just incredible drive.
Yeah, San Felipe, we really didn't have much test time on the car, personally. I mean, the car's 10 years old, but personally, I've only put coming into San Felipe, I only put a couple hundred miles on the car, 2 or 3 test sessions along with Justin Smith, and Justin started the car, brought it to me in about 3rd place, and then I got in. I remember taking off there, and I thought, oh man, we're doing terrible. This is terrible, because it's a different pace than a 1600 car. 1600 car, you're going as hard as you can, you're on the rev limiter, you're bouncing off whoops and trees and everything, and that's how you go fast, and that's what you're supposed to do. The Class 1's a different story. You know, it's a lot calmer in there, a bit easier, and so I thought, oh man, we're getting killed. You know, I'm expecting Damon Jeffries to come up behind me in a second, but little did I know we were sneaking up on the Wilsons, and we came in for the win.
You know, like we always said throughout the history, the 1600 I think really helped you get to where you were.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it all started, you know, when a lot of people don't know. It all started when I was like 5 years old, down in the Imperial Sand Dunes at Gordon's Well. We have a campground down there, and when I was 5 years old, I actually started driving a clutch car, an old car my dad built when he was 19, and he used to run along. My dad used to run alongside the car, put his hand on the clutch, yell gas. I'd hit the gas, he'd drop the clutch, jump out of the way, and off I went into the desert, 5 years old in a buggy. So that's how it all started, and countless miles in that car, hours and hours of just driving around, and that's how my dad, you know, believed in the learning process. He didn't really invoke a lot of driving techniques or anything. It just, you know, go out and learn for yourself, go keep on driving. And then when I was 12 years old, my dad bought me my first 1600 car, and I went down to Placer City with Nick Tiedemann, because he was the previous owner, and he rode with me, and we put about 50 miles on the car and then took it down to pre-run the Baja 500. And then starting in 2006 when I was 12, we just put thousands and thousands of miles of pre-run miles in the 16 car, and that's how I started.
You know, 5 years old, incredible, you know, to watch this young man here and start out with your dad chasing you. I mean, that's incredible, you know, chasing you down through the desert, you know, as you're driving.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people, they see how my cousin Andy did it. He started in Class 1 with my Uncle Scott riding with him. And it's actually the complete opposite of what my dad did. I started in the 16 car, and my dad never sat in that car once. And he's only ridden with me to this day about 1 or 2 times, and that was for about a mile, scared him to death, and he was out of there. So he does not ride with me, doesn't ride with my brother. He likes to watch us from the sidelines and tries to keep his mouth shut, but he's usually yelling, slow down, but, you know, we've proved to him we've got what it takes to keep the car on all 4 wheels, and you know.
Now, when you started, you know, like you're down there racing when you're 12, and you raced your 1600 car when you're 12, you know, down in Mexico. Now, how much did you learn from him?
Well, actually, I started pre-running when I was 12, and then I started racing when I was 15, and You know, nothing that he wouldn't directly tell me, hey, this is how you need to do this. This is how you need to drive this track. This is what you need to do here. But ever since I was 3 years old, I rode in his pre-run truck. And so now it's just become a natural thing to me that I've seen since I was, you know, just a toddler riding an off-road car. So it's just things I've been watching, and it's kind of just a natural feel now from riding with him. So, I mean, he's taught me things without directly telling me.
Now, your grandfather, you know, Corky, was that pretty inspirational as you watched, you know, Andy started out, you know, back in the Dust to Glory days, and you were about how old then?
Back in 2003, I was about 9 years old, I think, 8, 9, and yeah, watching my grandpa, he was a big inspiration to me, and I used to ride with him in his old mid car with his transmission, and man, he loved this sport with all his heart, more than most people, and a lot of people don't realize, you know, he was hands-on. He built that transmission, he built that car, he prepped that car, he did everything himself, and you know, I got to ride with him quite a few times, and he actually taught me how to read the GPS to him when I was, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years old, going over the top of the world. And I'll never forget, he loved it, and he loved hearing me read the GPS off to him, and that's how I learned how to do GPS. And you know, he's still a big inspiration, and I miss him a lot, and I know he's watching from above.
Yeah, I know he's keeping track of all you guys. Andy, Dan, you guys are just doing such a great job, and he's looking down going, wow, man, I sure love watching my grandkids. So any you know, your dad spent a lot of time, and do you think that really helped you pretty much?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it put the natural instinct in how to drive and how to drive the desert, right? So.
Now, your brother and you know, we're going to have him on the show a little bit later, and a lot of rivalry between you and your brother, you know,
Absolutely.
1600s. You know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, when I started, I remember my first race, I cartwheeled the car mile 7, and because I thought I was going to catch him. Didn't work out that way. But then I remember my second race, I actually rode with him to see what he's going to show me how to drive a 1600 race speed, because I've been pre-running for so long, and he scared me to death. It took me about a year to catch up in speed, and then we started racing, and that's when the rivalry really came on, because then we were both experienced, and you know, we get along really good, but we want to beat each other, and it's been really fun racing against him. But now he's in the truck, and I'm in the one car, so he's got a little bit of an advantage on me.
Now, is it kind of, when I remember a couple races at Laughlin when you beat him, you know, you guys kind of had a little, you know, for the 2-day Laughlin race, you know, you beat him one day, he beat you the next day. Kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that was 2010 Laughlin, I believe, or 2011. That was awesome. We started, I remember I started behind him on Saturday. I chased him down. I bumped him off the leap, and I went on to win the day. Well, that lit a fuse in him, and he came back Sunday to win the whole event. But we've had a lot of good battles, and he's had a lot of bad luck recently in a 16 car, tipping it and motor issues, and a lot of little issues that have kept me and him from competing too much. But we're real competitive, and we definitely want to beat each other out there.
So, what do your most, you know, you raced all 3 races in Mexico. What was your most favorite race this year? Last year, you know, San Felipe, the 500 or the 1,000?
Oh, that's tough. It's probably the 1,000, because it was the Peninsula run. I liked. We started that race, and we started 4th Class 1 behind the Wilsons, and we had a rivalry going on with them all year. We went back and forth at San Felipe, and we went back and forth, I think, 6 or 7 times with John Herder in that car at the 500. So then going into the 1,000, we had the weight on our shoulders to do good against them, and we started behind them. I remember we chased them for 100 miles, good race, and then they had some bad luck, put it in a ditch. But then just cruising down all the way down the peninsula was a lot of fun. That's like nothing else, especially since I got to finish that race. I started, Bean did the middle, and then I got to finish. But crossing the finish line in La Paz is like nothing else, especially winning in Class 1.
That great feeling, you know, it's already gone from the nighttime into the daytime, and you guys were finishing that morning, you know, just a long race, 20 hours. But so, you know, up and down the peninsula, are there any neat places that you kind of have when you're pre-running? Is there your favorite place down in Baja?
Absolutely. There's I know a lot of people are familiar with Coco's Corner, and then after that we go into Calamaluhe Wash, also known as Frog Canyon, and I love it down there. I love driving through there. We usually go through there at night, and it's flooded, and there's tules everywhere. There's always people stuck and broken, and people having motor issues with the water, and it's really technical, and I really like the technical stuff. So down in that wash is really fun. I love driving through it, and I definitely make sure I get to drive that section whenever we do the Peninsula run.
Now, speaking of Peninsula, do you like the loop race, or would you like to go back to the Peninsula?
Well, going into this year's 1,000, I thought the Peninsula run was the best because recently we've been running a lot of beat-up tracks. But after finishing this year's Baja 1000, going down around mile 900 and 1000, I learned that the track is just as chewed up down there as it is up here. So I definitely prefer the Peninsula run because it's the true Baja 1000. You go over 1,000 miles, but they're both really torn up. I'd like to see newer, fresher courses, whether we do the loop or the Peninsula run.
I know you brought up a good point, the 900-mile mark. Up until that point, there was a lot of battles going on, between all you guys. Trophy truck, Class 1, 10, everybody. But once they reached that 900 mark, it just seemed to take a lot of people out.
Yeah, well, we started, like I said, 4th Class 1, and the first 80 miles were by far the funnest because we were chasing Wilsons. We were working our way through 40 trophy trucks. I think we passed like 20 trophy trucks in the first 75 miles, and that's fun. I mean, you can't beat that. And then I got out of the car, and we had about a 15-minute lead at San Felipe. Or I wasn't out of the car yet. I was in the car at San Felipe. We had about a 15-minute lead, and we were running about 12th overall, so we had to back it down. And, the Baja 1000 is all about a pace race. But I like the fast-paced stuff, so I love chasing those trucks and all that. But then and then I got out of the car. Bean took it for a couple hundred miles, and I got back in. And once you get in around the mile 900 mark, it's just to get the car to the finish line without having problems. And we were moving along good, and we actually did have an issue down there at mile 1,000. Car shut off, and it was the power to the fuel pumps. My co-rider, Christensen, figured it out, and we kept going. But once you're down that far into the 1,000, it's just get it to the finish line.
Yeah, I remember you told me that at the finish line. Without him doing that, you could not have finished that race.
Absolutely. I have, in my eyes, the best co-rider in the sport, Chris Suleiman. Me and him, he's been riding with me for 2 or 3 years now, and he does all the pre-running with me. He's ridden with me in the 16 car. He wasn't the lightest guy around, but I told people what makes up for that is his ability to read the GPS to me, because me and him, we work really good together in the car. We have a really good system. I think we mark the GPS more than anyone, and I think we do it better than anyone down there, and I think that's shown and it's paid off.
Now, I know when Roger, you heard the news, what did you think when you heard Roger Norman bought Score?
Yeah, well, I was really excited. The first thing I thought was this is going to bring the sport to a new level, no doubt about it, and I think he has a lot of good ideas, and I don't want to lose what we know as true Baja racing. We have a lot of changes coming, but I think it's going to be really good for the sport, bring us to the next level, bring us worldwide, and really make this more professional.
Do you have any ideas? I know you came up with some ideas that you tried to pass on.
Yeah, I had a long post on Race Desert about that, and I talked to Roger quite a bit. My number one goal is to get less classes. I think this is racing, this Baja racing, and for this to be good racing, you need competition. We can't have these classes with 1 or 2 entries. It's not good for the sport. It's really not, because it's not competitive, and it's not good racing, and that's what people want to see. So that's definitely one idea, is to get less classes, new courses, and everything Roger's doing I see is really, really good. So I'm really happy with the takeover.
Now the qualifying, when you heard about that for the 500, what do you think?
I think it's absolutely necessary. I'm really excited about that. I heard he's going to qualify the trucks and then the buggies, which I don't know if I agree with that. I think they should be mixed. We're both unlimited classes, and what does qualifying mean if you qualify trophy trucks and you have the worst truck starting right in front of the best Class 1 driver? Well, that's no advantage for the Class 1 driver. So I hope he mixes that up, but qualifying is definitely going towards the right step in the right direction.
It adds to a little, you're going to get more fans out there watching you guys and what you get to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more professional to qualify. That's what, they do in NASCAR, IndyCar. Qualifying is a lot more professional than just a random draw. Even though the top 12 idea was a good idea, qualifying is the real deal, and that's the right thing we need to do.
So 2013, what do you, we know there's some things we'll talk about. You and Justin again teamed up, right?
No. For the 250, I'm going to race the Class 1 car solo. Okay. And me and Justin, we're still really good friends. We're still good competitors. We're going to go camp together this weekend at Prim when we race there. But I need to solo some more races. The 250, it's too short to split. So I'm going to solo that one in the Class 1 car. And then I've had some other opportunities arise for the Baja 500. I'm going to drive the number 9 Wyrick truck, and I get to solo that one also. And I think I'm really excited about that. And I just think soloing is the right thing to do. You know, I'm young, I can do it, and you know, nothing against Justin. We might team up again for the 1,000 if I race the Class 1 car there. But that's what we got going on.
Have you thought about going to the trophy truck? I mean, is this what maybe a little plan, kind of getting in the trophy truck?
Well, I got the offer to race the number 23 truck this year. I know my brother wants me to jump in with him, but I'm not super satisfied with the Class 1 yet. I want to take that for one more race. I was planning on taking it for the entire season to win a championship, but then the World Championship came up, and I think that kind of diluted just a score championship, and we weren't able to do the World Series this year. It just wasn't on the schedule. So then I decided to take on San Felipe, and then the truck deal came up with Wyrix, and that's just an opportunity me and my dad couldn't pass. So now I've got that in my head. I'm real nervous for that, but I think we'll be mentally prepared for that. I'm going to get some test time in the truck, and I think we'll be ready for the Baja 500.
Yeah, great team. You know, Mark and Gary, and they should put a lot behind you. You know.
Absolutely. I think Mark and Gary both got, I think, 3rd at the 1,000, and they've been around for a long time. I grew up watching them. Very strong team. I know John Vance is over there, and they got the program going really good right now in the right direction, and I'm really excited to join them. Now,
when you're racing, we talked earlier about your dad, and you know your dad is very much involved. I know at the finish line he's crazy. He's just incredible jumping in. Saw him jump in the car with Mike Jolson and popping beers in there and stuff. He's pretty. Is he like that all the time?
Yeah, he ever since me and my brother. Well, he's had some neck problems, some back problems, and he's on the sidelines now. But ever since me and my brother took over the driving duties, he's been a lot more relaxed. He's enjoying the races a lot more, as everyone can see. And that's just who he is. He's not afraid to get in front of the camera and do crazy stuff, and he's just kind of a wild guy. He's just there for a good time.
I was interviewing Mike Jolson, and I couldn't even keep myself going. It was so funny. Now, I know Mike Sky Ranch, he definitely put on a show there too. So
that's what I heard. I wasn't there to see it, but
yeah.
If you see him around Baja, he's
I saw his outfit when he left the Coral. Pretty neat outfit that he was wearing. We can't really show that here, but
yeah.
So we're gonna get back. And anything else you want to share with the fans out there?
No, we're just ready for 2013 season.
And then really excited about this Tisco ride.
Yeah, absolutely. 500. Absolutely, I'm really excited for that, and it's going to be a big step because going from the 16 to the Class 1 was obviously a big step, but it's buggy to buggy, and now I'm going into a truck, so there's no more centering over rocks. I've got the rear end now, I've got an automatic transmission, and this is going to be a big learning step.
Now, if you win the 500 in the 9 truck, do you think there's something more there?
If I win, I mean, that'd be amazing, but, you know, you don't want to count your chickens before they're hatched or whatever that saying is, and we'll see how it goes. You know, hopefully it works out as good as I did in the Class 1 car. That was shocking, and hopefully the 500 works out too. We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Luke McMillin. We're going to come right back live with Dan, his brother, right here on the set. He's going to join Luke, coming right back after this commercial.